It's Thursday evening, June 18, 2026, and it's time for our monthly update. We're going to dive into how our QQQ, QLD, and TQQQ investments have performed and take a closer look at what's been happening in the markets. This month has been another wild ride, so let's get right into it. Let's start with the big picture. The market's journey from April 7, 2025 to October 29, 2025 was absolutely remarkable. Over those 7 months, QQQ delivered an incredible bullish run, surging from $402 on April 7, 2025, all the way to a peak of $637 on October 29, 2025. During this explosive period, QQQ stayed comfortably above the SMA 50 purple line for 7 straight months. However, everything changed during the Iran war crisis. QQQ crashed to a low price of $555 on March 30. At that point, a death cross seemed absolutely inevitable, and conventional wisdom suggested it would not be easy to reclaim the SMA 200 green line and the SMA 50 purple line anytime soon. But then something truly remarkable happened. Since March 30, QQQ surged almost straight up from $555 all the way to $748 on June 4. That is an incredible 35% surge in just 2 months. QQQ reclaimed both the SMA 50 purple line and the SMA 200 green line, completely avoided the death cross, and smashed through to another all-time high. Today, QQQ sits around $740, positioned comfortably above both the SMA 50 purple line and the SMA 200 green line. Since QQQ has broken above these critical levels, let's add both the SMA 5 blue line and the SMA 20 black line to our analysis for better context. QQQ has been riding above the SMA 5 blue line since April 1 for most of the time. However, we saw 2 notable pullbacks this past month. In May, QQQ dipped below the SMA 5 blue line for just 3 days before bouncing right back above it. That was a minor blip. In June, the pullback was more significant. QQQ dropped below both the SMA 5 blue line and the SMA 20 black line. It took 8 days for QQQ to fully reclaim the SMA 5 blue line. This is completely normal behavior in a bull market. I expect to see these kinds of minor and major pullbacks many more times throughout the rest of 2026. Even when they happen, I expect QQQ to hold above the SMA 20 black line or at least the SMA 50 purple line most of the time. Since QQQ is now positioned above the SMA 50 purple line, we have a strong probability of riding above this level for an extended period, just as we witnessed the sustained rise of QQQ last year from April 2025 through November 2025. Looking at this QQQ daily chart from Finviz, QQQ has been remarkably resilient throughout all these pullbacks. QQQ is now trading above the SMA 20 line, the SMA 50 line, the SMA 200 line, and this key support line. The next big milestone to watch is whether QQQ can push above the all-time high of $748 set on June 4. Since we focus on long-term investing, let's step back and review this weekly QQQ chart for proper perspective. The weekly view tells a very reassuring story. Since January 2023, QQQ has remained above the SMA 200 green line continuously without a single break below it. QQQ has also stayed above the SMA 20 black line most of the time since January 2023, with brief corrections happening only once per year. Here is the pattern that I find incredibly consistent and reassuring. QQQ went down below the SMA 20 black line only once in 2023, only once in 2024, only once in 2025, and only once in 2026. One correction per year. Every single time, it has recovered. In 2026 specifically, QQQ was able to rebound at the SMA 50 purple line before successfully reclaiming the SMA 20 black line. Based on this consistent pattern, I think we have a strong chance of seeing QQQ stay above the SMA 20 black line for the remainder of 2026 on the weekly chart. History suggests the annual correction is already behind us. Now for our QQQ versus QLD $100 challenge portfolio update. As I mentioned last month, starting in March 2026, I switched from buying QQQ to buying QQQM because QQQM offers lower fees. Those lower fees compound to significant savings over decades. Since March 2026, I have also been investing in both QQQM and QLD through a Roth IRA account to completely eliminate capital gains tax. These two optimizations, lower fees and zero capital gains tax, matter tremendously for long-term wealth building. On June 5, I added 0.33 shares of QQQM at $299.88. Combined with our previous QQQ holdings and new QQQM positions, I have invested a total of $5,100. My current unrealized gain is $60 from QQQM in my Roth IRA account. From QQQ in my individual account, my current unrealized gain is $2,410. Together, the total market value of QQQM and QQQ combined is about $7,570. The unrealized gain of $2,470 out of $5,100 invested delivers a solid 48% return. For QLD, on June 5, right after buying QQQM, I picked up 1.04 shares of QLD at $95.65. Combining QLD shares in both the Roth IRA and individual accounts, I have invested a total of $5,100. The results here are even more impressive. My unrealized gain from both accounts now stands at about $4,660, giving us a powerful 91% return. The performance gap between QLD and QQQ continues to widen dramatically, especially in rising markets. This is exactly what we expect from a 2x leverage product. Now let's compare the performance of TQQQ. I have invested a total of $20,300 in TQQQ. My current unrealized gain is $34,300, delivering an outstanding 168% return. Let me put all three numbers side by side so you can really appreciate the leverage effect. My personal portfolio shows QQQ with about 48% return, QLD with 91%, and TQQQ leading with an impressive 168%. Notice how each level of leverage roughly doubles the return: QQQ 48%, QLD 91%, about 2x, and TQQQ 168%, about 3.5x over a longer period due to buying at lower prices during crashes. These results powerfully demonstrate the leveraged structure of QLD and TQQQ at work. QLD is engineered to deliver 2 times and TQQQ is engineered to deliver 3 times the daily performance of the Nasdaq 100. Yes, leverage amplifies volatility in both directions. But for patient, long-term investors who don't panic during pullbacks, leverage also delivers significantly greater upside potential when markets recover and trend higher over time. The key word there is patient. Anyone who panic sold during the March 30 crash when QQQ was at $555 missed the entire 35% surge to $748. That is the devastating cost of emotional investing. Since May 2024, we have maintained an unwavering commitment of investing at least $100 into QQQ and $100 into QLD every single month, no matter what the market does. This consistent, disciplined approach perfectly embodies dollar cost averaging, or DCA. The goal is straightforward: reduce the impact of short-term market swings by spreading our investments over time. We automatically accumulate more shares when prices are low and fewer shares when prices are high, all while maintaining laser focus on our long-term objective. Our strategy rests on 4 fundamental rules that never change. First, invest monthly without fail, regardless of headlines or emotions. Second, hold long-term for 30+ years to capture the full power of compounding. Third, never sell regardless of market conditions, crashes, or euphoria. Fourth, never, ever use dangerous margin that could force us to sell at the worst possible time. This approach is specifically designed to succeed over decades and completely removes emotion from the investment equation. If you want to see 30 years of compelling data proving this methodology works through multiple market cycles, check out my deep dive video Cash vs. SPY vs. QQQ vs. QLD vs. TQQQ, 30-year showdown. Let me close with the June 2026 scorecard. QQQ hit a new all-time high of $748 on June 4 and sits at $740 today. TQQQ returns at 168%. QLD returns at 91%. QQQ returns at 48%. The annual correction appears to be behind us. QQQ has reclaimed all key moving averages. The bull market continues. That wraps up our June 2026 update. If you got value from this video, smash that like button, subscribe so you don't miss next month's update, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, this content is for entertainment only and not financial advice. Make sure your investments align with your own goals and risk tolerance. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay consistent and let the power of compounding do the work. Happy investing, everyone!